Всем привет, с вами Мафия. Продолжаем играть Скарик. Так, что ж. Следующий мод у нас, это последний мод сегодня для Скарима. Это народу до хера немножко виснет. В общем, это у нас наряды на демонику Лилит. В общем, только ее наряды, только на нее. Как бы, так что вот такие вот дела. В общем, на улицу идти быстрее. В общем, такие вот дела у нас. Да. Где их можно достать? В кузнице. В разделе Демоника Лилит. Там будет ее наряды. В общем, ну, естественно, там какие-то ресурсы будут, я не помню уже какие. Потому что уже давно этим модом не пользовался. Вот. На простые, короче, женские персонажи эти наряды не подойдут. Это чисто только для демоники Лилит наряд. Так что вот такие вот дела. Даже не пытайтесь ее одевать. Так же, как и демоника Лилит. Для нее тоже как бы скаримская броня не подходит. Но есть такой мод, где там скаримская броня подходит. Вот. Это нам кучу модов надо качать. И все. В общем, как-то так. Вот. Ну, наряды очень качественные. Платья там всякие. В общем, ну, не слишком много-то и нарядов там у нее. В общем. Так, Децл. О, штучки 3-4. Так, искупались. Охладились, так сказать. Вот. В общем, наряды нормальные. Можно, короче, скрафтить их в кузнице. В любой. В разделе там отдельно будет для демоники Лилит. Раздел, в общем, как-то так. Вы кто?
Yes. Currently, I'm deducing the nature of poison. It seems that regardless of the substance, the body has a threshold which cannot be surpassed. This can vary depending on the substance. For instance, the toxicity of nightshade is far higher than that of jazzbay grapes. A jazzbay grape, on the other hand, can leave you susceptible to destruction magic. All things, when consumed in enough quantity, can kill.
Понятно.
It is. There's a story, in fact, of a man who drank from a fountain that was rumored to restore youth. An elderly man, he consumed water from dawn until dusk, until his stomach bloated like a gourd. The sun hadn't set when the man collapsed and died. It turns out he succumbed to water poisoning. For him, water was the source of all death. Similarly, as poison is in the dose, mortality is bound to time. A simple cut, if allowed to fester, can be fatal. While some areas are more tolerant than others, preventing death is simply a matter of restoring a wound within that set window. That's why efficiency is crucial in the field. Many deaths happen because there's simply not enough time to find a healer.
Понятно.
True, both healing spells and potions restore the body as a whole. But most of this energy seems wasted in the process. There's 3 types of research. The first is done purely for knowledge. The college mages fall into this category. The second is driven by agenda. the most common of which are money and war. Mostly money, but war's a close second. The third is altruistic, or more specifically, in service to the gods. My research follows no banner. It serves the will of the gods and the protection of all those who worship them. If my research is used for war, then I'm not to blame, even if I'm partly responsible. I trust that people are inherently good, because if mortals are corrupt, then it makes little difference what one person does.
They say Yorland Greymane crafts weapons that can
I
make
never
humans
implied my work was
unweapons.
solely on the dead. I used to experiment on small animals. I'd make cuts in multiple locations and attempt to heal only one
Ясно.
of the incisions.
Так, а ты кто такой? А, это мой. Ладно, так. Хлебануть в... Хлебанули. И пойдем далее. Броня матная, кольчужная. Сделалась. Прикольно так смотрится на ней. Еще и с волком. С мечом волка. Красиво очень. Так. Ну, сталь, конечно, так себе. Но все равно. Так, что у нас там? Лечение. Это развлечение. Ну, вроде да. Лечением. Так. Фонарик. Надо взять с собой. Вода мне еще нужна. Выпить. Я выпью. Так, ладно, допустим. Отлично. Нам сюда как бы надо забраться, пообщаться. Так, это потом. У нас задание не так до хрена. Я пока потом соберу с доски остальные задания. Задание здесь и так вот. Вагон. В общем. Как бы.
У нас теплая еда,
Так.
теплое питье и теплые постели.
Вот это кто? Понятно. Сигурс. О, вот это ты кто такой? Сэм. Сэм нам нахер не сдался. Я знаю Сэма. Вот это что-то новое.
Хочешь получить предсказания лавы? Прости, малыш, но я сейчас не в настроении.
Чего это?
Вид у тебя бледноватый.
Понял.
Наверное, это атаксия. У нас в Сиродиле это настоящая напасть.
Целительница.
Ну, вроде того. Я образование не в школе восстановления получала, но тоже неплохое.
Ну понятно.
У меня найдется все, что нужно для приготовления лекарства почти от любой болезни.
Ага.
Если бы я получала по септиму за каждый случай каменной подагры или разжижения мозга, который я исцелила, я бы уже давно разбогатела.
Ясно. До
Будешь
свидания.
Да, прощай.
Это тот Аркадий.
Так. Так, это... Ясно, кто это.
Да? Мы с тобой как-нибудь пропустим
Изольда.
победки, ты да я.
Голожопая.
For the court wizard, I'm not him. Farengar is the one you want. If you wish to speak with him, you'll find him somewhere in the general direction of boredom. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's this invention called wine that requires my immediate attention.
Понятно.
Oh, all right, if you must. As the Nords say, make it quick. Brevity would be my favorite word if it didn't have 3 syllables. Now, wine, that's a good word. Short, sweet, intoxicating. People love wine almost as much as they love whining. I'm one of those people. Although some say the spiced wine in solitude rivals any vintage the Third Era ever produced, I'd say those people have never been to the Isles. I apologize for you saying something. My name is Elderwin.
Можно
I've
узнать
come to
твое
White
имя?
Run for the
Да.
Skyforge and for Farengar. I don't see that as a negative. My Nord friends often chide me for neglecting the rich history of Skyrim, as if I was ignorant of it. They say, you know, Elder, there's more to Skyrim than just alto and spiced wine. And I tell them, yes,
Вот оно
yes,
что.
I know all about your windmills and bars.
Понятно.
12 different words for coal. I only care about the wine.
Ух ты, ё. Так. Во-во.
Yorland allows me to use his magical forge to craft jewelry. I use the enchanting table at Dragon's Reach to raise their value. Then I turn them around and sell them to Farengar, and he always buys them. I've never met a man so obsessed with necklaces. He says their enchantments are valuable. I think he likes to wear them. Maybe tomorrow I'll enchant him a dress to go along with it.
Ага. Ясно.
I don't really understand it myself. There should be more of me. It seems to me smithing and enchanting are two complementary skills. I can only assume it has to do with the stigma that comes with being a blacksmith. They say to wield a hammer, you must be as dull as an anvil and as strong as an ox, as if stupidity were a prerequisite for the craft. Although I have heard warriors talk of such things, they say the person who thinks too much on the battlefield lacks focus. In battle, having an empty mind certainly makes you more decisive, but the forge is not something that requires you to act swiftly. But I do like the notion of intelligence being a weakness. There are far too many mages who thumb their noses at common folk, as if worth was defined by the size of one's skull. Alchemists invented wine, farmers harvest the grapes, and smiths provide the tools. So, to me, each is worth more than all the mages in Winterhold. We are still talking about my interpretation of worth, are we not? So far, you haven't been at all useful to me. We really need to rectify that. One bottle and a fresh loaf of bread ought to do it. Better make it two, to be sure.
Ясненько.
Caves are the best place to find packs of wolves, or bears, sometimes even trolls. Unfortunately, by myself, they provide a bit of a challenge. There used to be 3 other mages in my faction, a motley bunch to be sure. A Khajiit, a Redguard, a Nord, and myself. 4 mages can be a formidable party, especially when their talents complement each other. As a result, I can afford to make mistakes. Mistakes like trading our last healing potion for a flask of wine. Not a problem when the Redguard was there to restore my wounds. Thankfully, the one talent I do have serves me well. It turns out most feral beasts in Skyrim are susceptible to fire. Victim to the squalls of battle, I'm afraid. It matters not if you are a novice or an archmage. All it takes is a single misstep. The Khajiit was first. We all knew it'd be him. Then our numbers were 3. Next came the Redguard, then the Nord, and soon only I remained. The Khajiit, Razan, was what we call a scroll mage. Not an ounce of magical talent, but one who desperately wanted to cast spells.
Ясно. Понятно. Ну что ж, всем пока, с вами был Мафия. Мод у нас был на эту, как ее там, на наряды наши Демоники Лилит. Всем пока.